Hoosier BackCountry.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hoosier BackCountry podcast. This is episode number 8. As always, I'm joined here with Mr. Seth.
What's up, guys?
And Big T-Bone Tanner.
What's up?
How's everybody doing?
Pretty good week.
Belly's
Pretty good week.
full.
Yeah.
Belly is full. Had a good turkey day. We're not talking about the one in the spring.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was a very good Thanksgiving. Hopefully, everybody else had a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah, hopefully.
Just killed the last of the leftovers for lunch today, so that's a bummer.
I made it a big point to not bring any leftovers home because I knew they would just sit in the fridge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not
That's all I've ate. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
a Thanksgiving leftover kind of guy.
Mm.
Me personally.
Yeah.
I think everything works except the deviled eggs.
Yeah.
You don't want those a day or two afterwards.
Oh, I got a
No.
story about deviled eggs real quick. So a couple years back, Jessica's grandma made some deviled eggs. Okay, and she was supposed to send them over to us. Well, like 2 weeks later, Jessica comes home with these deviled eggs. So I'm like, oh, like your grandma just made deviled eggs. Awesome. Well, no, they'd been sitting in grandma's fridge for 2 weeks.
Ooh.
And I was excited and I took a bite of them, dude, and I can't even eat them now. They could be they could be
Oh.
straight fresh and it ain't happening.
It's like after a night, it's like when you turn 21 and you go out and you just drink Fireball all night and you wake up the next day and you can never drink Fireball again or
Yeah.
something.
Sounds real familiar, doesn't it?
Does it sound familiar?
Yeah, if everybody's wondering, I cannot stand Fireball. Oh, dude, the smell of that makes me that and tequila makes me want to just puke. Ugh.
Mm.
Now, speaking of these tasty little beverages, Tanner, what do we got today?
Well, the beer of the week is going to be a little Sun King Brewery Sunlight Cream Ale. Now, I know, like I said, Seth, this is one of his longtime favorites.
I can't even say I've ever heard of this, to be honest with you.
It's the Zombie Dust.
Is this an
It's-
Indiana
it's-
beer?
Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
Indiana
Well, I'll
microbrewery,
be
similar to
damned.
the Zombie Dust that we had.
No
This is
shit.
not that potent, not that skunked beer that you thought, but no, this is pretty good. It's one of my favorite. Well, hell, it's brewed in Canada right out of Indianapolis.
All right. Well,
And
we've
it's
been to the
cold.
brewery. in
Oh
Fishers.
yeah, and Fishers, yeah. Yeah, if you're up in that Fishers area, definitely stop by. It's a really cool place. I think they had 21 different taps. Plus, they had an area blocked off for like games, so like you can go drink and play games with your buds. So
Mhm.
It's got a different smell to it.
I already know I like it. So.
yeah, why don't you? You're the
I'm going to be the odd guy out here.
you're the taste tester, Kyle.
It's an ale.
You know, it's not bad.
A little bit different.
This might be the first beer I've said is not bad.
It is actually.
I-
It's different.
It is different. It's not your
Right.
typical Busch Light.
All right.
Don't get me wrong.
Well, hey,
but
And real quick, since we've got video now for YouTube, for
Oh,
the
yeah.
YouTube people, I don't know if you can see that. It's right there.
Probably not.
Oh, and our banner.
yes,
Yes.
we got a
We got a
nice
banner.
new banner up in the studio here, as we call it.
Yeah. So yeah, anybody who's just listening on the podcast, strictly we are up video on YouTube, which we're recording our first one now, so you can zoom in on YouTube and watch us three goofballs kick this off. But yeah, right behind us have our banner that Seth designed and everything, identical to our business cards. And you know, when we start, you know, making hopefully these public appearances in the future, when people stop by, and this is like mind-blowing for Cohen because he didn't know this type of technology existed with the little code thing, the circular code thing where you just put your little camera over it, it pulls up a link. I think Cohen just like learned
That
about
is
that
amazing.
today,
That is literally amazing.
even though it's been around for 6 years.
I mean, how does your cell phone know that you just put your camera on something and then it pulls something up?
That's out of me.
I mean,
don't-
that is just
That's some Steve Jobs
that's
right there.
asinine.
Yeah,
That is just asinine.
that's like Microsoft Bill Gates stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, people need to watch iRobot because that's what's going on.
Right, exactly.
All right?
Exactly.
You know?
I just got to keep Will Smith alive, man.
Oh shit. So we got a couple topics we want to talk about here today. Seth, you found something interesting the other day, and I want to say that was an Outdoor Life
I can't- yeah.
article.
Yeah, I would pull my phone up, but it's over there. I can't. The exact article. I think you're right. It was something outdoors.
Yeah.
Obviously, but I would give you the correct shout out if I knew. But we
I want to say it was an Outdoor Life article. I think.
Okay.
I could be totally wrong. I could be pissing out my ass right now. I don't know.
No, but it was a really. It was a really. Sorry, I almost imagined that for a second. Like that's a rough night.
Right? We've all been there.
That's Taco Bell, man.
Oh, dude.
Straight
our,
Taco
our late
Bell.
night walks to Taco Bell back in the day after been drinking.
Mhm.
Yeah. Goes right through you. But no, I was on Facebook. I think it was over Thanksgiving, and it was an article like those like suggested ads or whatever, or for you things pop up on Facebook. Well, it came up and I just kind of read the headline and it caught my attention. So I opened it up, and basically it was about this guy noticed that, not really noticed. I don't know what you want to call it.
Attempted, maybe.
Studied.
Studied.
I guess it was like a study.
Yeah.
But like, long story short, everybody says, not everybody, but most people say, to get the big bucks, to kill a big buck, to have a chance at a big buck, you want to stay out of your woods as much as possible. No intrusion, watch your scent, wait till it's the perfect time to hunt, and then slip in there and try to get him because he doesn't know, you're not in there a lot. You don't want to bust him out.
Right.
This guy was almost saying the opposite. And at first, if it was anybody else, I would have been like, whatever, I'm not listening to you. But he made a very good point. I thought it was a good enough point to talk about it. But he was saying to do the total opposite, to come in all the time. Check your cameras once a week or twice a week. Scout, make noise, put your scent, just do your thing. Be in the woods a lot. And he was saying because... And it kind of makes sense. This is where it makes sense is the more times you're in the woods over time, the deer would get used to you, right? Especially if you're not shooting at them. If you're just walking around checking cameras, the first couple times, maybe a couple months, they might run away from you. But then once they find out, oh, this guy's just walking through the woods, there's no threat, they're going to chill. They'll let you pass. Done, right? So the more times you're in that woods, the more scent, they kind of get used to it. So then when season does come in, and you're hunting, it's nothing new to them.
Yeah.
They smelt and seen you and all year long. And like I said, because if you stay out of the woods, they're not used to you. It's just them. Then all of a sudden deer season comes in. Now they're smelling you and they're seeing you walk to the stand or however. Now they're like, whoa, this isn't normal.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes sense in a way to me. And then one other thing he said about being in there a lot, which I know this for a fact. So if you push a big buck or stress him out, or whatever, put too much pressure on him, he'll go somewhere where he feels safe.
You find a sanctuary.
Yes. So it could be off your property. It doesn't matter. He'll find that. They don't get big being dumb.
Right.
So he's going to find that spot. So he said, if you go in there and keep putting this pressure, yes, he could get used to you and there's no big deal. But let's just say he does get stressed out and pressured. And he goes to this seclusion spot that he feels safe. Well, if he does this in spring, now you have all year to find that spot. Now, if it's off your property, it's off your property. But let's say it is on your property. Now you have all year to find where that seclusion spot is, hang a stand close to it. So when the pressure does come on in deer season, you got him. Where else is he going to go?
Right.
That's his spot.
I see the whole thing. I understand the mindset and the logic behind it, but I feel like that would only work if the people around your property were kind of doing the same thing. Because the more you introduce intrusion or pressure to them, like you said, they're going to find their sanctuary. It might be on your property. Chances are, in my opinion, it's not going to be. Because if you got, you're hanging cameras everywhere, you're hanging stands, you're always out in the woods scouting this, that, and the other. Yeah, they might get kind of used to you, but the big ones, they're not going to. Maybe you're going to get your spikes that don't give a shit.
Right.
They're just too dumb to know any better. Or the does that are, they're already kind of skittish the way it is. They might get a little more used to it, but your big bucks, they're not. I personally don't think that they're going to. I don't think you're going to get lucky enough unless you got a giant tract of woods where they're going to find a seclusion area on your property if you're putting that pressure on them. They're more than likely they're going to bump off to somebody who's not putting any intrusion in, who's staying out of the woods. They're going to find their sanctuary right there, and that's where they're going to hang out.
Just real fast, I want to add, did he put some type of like time frame for this observation of his or anything?
There was no time frame. That was the only thing.
Just experience over a couple of years that he's noticed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess I don't know if it was one season, a month. I don't know.
And that's probably something you're not going to know for probably solid 5 seasons. Like,
for sure,
really
to see if it's working or not.
Right.
And then you run the risk also if you try that and it doesn't work, then you just bumped every deer off your property.
Exactly.
Then you're screwed.
And you make a good point. I mean, because at least in Indiana, unless you're a big time farmer around here, you don't have a lot of woods in one spot.
Right.
There's a
Usually
bunch
it's
of
your
chunks
30,
everywhere.
40 acre.
Yeah.
You know, that's the 30, 40 acres is a decent sized property here in Indiana.
Right.
There's
So-
just so many people that got the 10, 15, 20, 38, you know, but you don't see very many people that's got the 152 to basically 150 to 500 acres is very far and few between.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I could see it working to an extent. This is okay. This is how, if I was going to use that tactic, this is how I would do it. Let's just say, and I'd have to have a lot of property. Let's just say 400 acres. Okay. I would put pressure on the outsides and make that sanctuary in the middle or somewhere where I'm not fearful that I'm going to bump them off the property.
Right.
Somewhere that's still huntable for me. And I would try to make that into the center of the property, you know, whether it's a thicket or something like that. They're going to get in and feel safe. That's how I would do it.
Right.
But on 15 acres, like I've got here, I don't think it could work something like that.
Right. And you really do make a good point on that, because if you had a couple 100,000 acres, you know, ranch, whatever. Yeah. I mean, you bust them off this 20 acres, but they're still on your property.
Right. Because like we've talked about before, deer don't care about property lines.
Right.
They don't know that Farmer Joe owns, you know, this side of the oak tree. You know, he don't know. They don't give a shit.
Right.
They're doing their own thing. So yeah, that's my take on it.
And you're right. Like, let's say it doesn't work, you know, or let's think, I know we're people, but let's try to think as a big buck, right? So you have this guy coming in all the time. You could get used to him and it'd be normal, or man, there's 40 acres over here that there's no one that walks through.
Right. Because their thing is not, they don't want to get used to things.
Right.
They're on edge all the time. That's how they're still alive.
Yeah.
That's survival of the fittest out there for them. And that's not just with people. That's with your predators. Like we talked last week about the coyotes, you know, the bobcats, whatever else, chupacabras, whatever's out there. You know what I mean? That these things are trying to stay away from. So I don't feel like, especially if it's never been introduced, and you know, deer aren't stupid. They know, like, October hits, dude. First person they see in the woods is like, well, time to hide for the year.
Right.
We're done.
Right.
Yeah,
You know?
they know when that rut's coming on. They're like, wait a minute, this is also World War for us.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, so I don't think a deer would be tolerant enough to stay around to let themselves get used to you being around so much.
Right.
I
Personally.
would just say, you know, from our experience last year at grandma's, 15, 20 acres, you know, we saw deer religiously on the trail cams.
Yep.
And then, obviously when deer season came in, we hunted the crap out of the woods, and we were seeing, I mean, maybe not been within shooting distance, but we were still seeing deer. And we abused that. We put so much pressure on that woods. We abused it.
Yeah.
And it was like a light switch. And there were so many hunts after it where I don't even think we heard shots around us.
Right.
Like, it was just so overly pressured. So, like I said, it's a good theory, but I don't know if, you know, I don't know how you prove that, I guess.
Right.
Like,
I think
that's going to
it's-
be a very in-depth, like, process to prove
Right.
that
I think
theory.
it's a good theory for large tracts of property,
Correct.
but I don't think it's possible for smaller tracts,
Yeah.
15, 20 acres. I just don't.
And what kind of, and I agree. What caught my attention is because, have you ever noticed, like, you go to Indianapolis or around Indy?
with the story you told us about where the deer were in the middle of that ball
Yeah.
diamond.
It's
Yeah.
like, why are deer here? And they're nice bucks.
Yeah.
Nice bucks. Why are they in the middle of Indy? But that's where you get to, is where else are they gonna go?
Yeah.
That is their home.
Right.
Yeah.
So if they have to get used to it.
Mhm.
Where we hunt out in the middle of nowhere, there's nothing but
Yeah.
woods.
Yep.
They have places.
It's
to go.
it's based off geographical
Yeah.
location
Their
for sure.
hands aren't forced to either get used to it or die.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
they're like, hang out here because you like it, or we're leaving and going somewhere else because you like that place better.
I mean,
Right.
hell, if a deer's living in Indianapolis, they're probably used to hearing gunshots all the time.
Right.
True. True.
So,
Yeah, dude. That's too funny.
I mean, the crime rate has increased this last year.
Well,
Yeah.
you're gonna see bucks walking around with freaking bandanas on and shit.
Oh no!
Got a Glock hanging out.
Oh,
got a
teardrop
Glock.
tattoo on it.
Yeah, got a Glock off the old backstrap, dude.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But no, I just thought that was interesting.
And
But-
it is-
and I
yeah.
agree with you. Though.
It is an interesting piece. Don't get me wrong, because if somebody like Outdoor Life, if that's who did post it, I like to think that they're knowledgeable enough to allow people to send in articles, and they publish articles that actually know what the hell they're talking about. and this could have worked for this guy.
Mhm.
But was it a practical setting, or was this guy just
Yeah.
filthy rich and have so much land he didn't know what to do with?
Right.
You know, that I think that plays a big part in it.
And it, like Tanner said, the geographical area. Okay, so the Drury brothers, for instance.
Yeah.
Nothing against them. I like them. I like them a lot. They hunt out of elevated. What is it?
The muddy box blinds.
Muddy? Is it muddy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they hunt out of elevated box blinds in Missouri. That's great in Iowa. It's
And
flat.
everywhere else.
Yeah, but mostly Missouri and Iowa.
Yeah.
That's where most of their farms are. Great. It's flat. They have crop, but not like we have crop.
Mhm.
You know, and it's their geographic area. They can stick a blind out there and make a full grass food, or not grass, but a full green food plot,
Right.
and have deer come in every single
Mhm.
night. You can't do that here. We have cornfields and bean fields you're competing with first off.
Right.
I mean, that's by far like what probably Indiana's base of their economy set off of.
Right. So you have that you're fighting. Plus, we just have a lot more timber.
Yeah, and I think, kind of speaking of food plots, you know, historically speaking, you think of when you hear somebody talk about putting a food plot in, you think of spring, and that's great.
Mhm.
You know, I think food plots in the spring are a great thing. But I think the big focus should be having a green, palatable source in the fall when the
Yep.
crops are taken out, because, you know, once the corn's out and the beans are out, yeah, they're going to scavenge for, you know, what the combines dropped or missed or whatever. But there's only so much of that, and then it's gone. And then they're going to, what else can they find? You know, acorns maybe, and I don't know what the fuck else grows. You know what I mean? Whatever else is out there that's green and palatable. But if you've got a good fall plot and it turns from bitter to sweet after that first frost, and it's big enough to withstand the absolute mow down that deer do after all that, I think that's where like the big success comes from. You know, and that's,
Yeah.
I thought about that more and more and more. You know, yes, in the spring, summer, when fields go in, you got, your green crop with their beans, blah blah blah. I'm not knowledgeable enough to know if beans and the growing corn is palatable for deer in the spring. I'll be honest, I don't know a whole hell of a lot about food plots or crop in general. I'm definitely not a farmer.
They don't hit corn till it's. I mean, they hit when it's green, I guess, but not. It's more brown. I guess it's like it's getting close to harvest before they actually start.
Which is why you see whenever everything starts turning. In corn, I guess I can speak on corn. Beans, I don't know, but corn, just from experience of walking by cornfields, like just prime example right out back here, it's not really knocked down until it turns brown, and then you see the ears of corn just everywhere,
right?
Because the deer are just freaking mowing down $40,000-$50,000 a crop,
right?
Because that's what they do.
And we're kind of hitting on what you were mentioning a second ago about the time of year, and I've been kind of thinking about this recently, and I was going to run it by you guys. Like, if you have like the financial support and everything to do something like this, obviously with the corn being picked and everything, I mean, there's some areas where it hasn't been picked yet.
Yeah,
I saw the other day, but moving into like late December time frame, like, do you guys think it's worth the money to almost put like an automated feeder, like in your woods? Try to keep the deer in your woods as much as possible.
We talking like after season? You mean?
Yeah. After, yes.
I just want to clarify. I just want to clarify.
Well, let me correct you. I said the end of December. January 4th.
Okay, perfect.
January 4th is when deer season's over. You think it's almost good to do it then to help keep them in your woods over the winter time, so come spring they're not maybe
venturing out.
Yeah, venturing out
think,
as much.
And Seth probably can attest to this more than me, but I think in my mind, whatever you can do to keep a deer on your property is going to yield better success.
Yeah,
right.
In my opinion.
I feed deer all year round until deer season.
Oh, really?
I don't do it illegally. So
I mean, 10 days before deer season.
I pull it before that, but I'm just saying, besides deer hunting time, I feed them. Period. And I don't just put a salt block. I put the good, like Big Tine. Lucky Buck's a good one.
I love Lucky Buck. I had a lot of success on seeing big deer, lots of does, and actually 2 8-pointers. I see you guys some pictures at the other property.
Yeah, just mowing logs down because that's what they do.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Stumps reduced almost to a third of the size within 2 months.
Right. And I like, there's like that deer cocaine. There's nothing really mineral about that. It's just an attractant. I want to give them something that gives them vitamins, minerals, nutrients, especially after season and in spring. If you want big deer, horn wise, the 2 times you want to feed them is wintertime, because there's less they can eat. So you want to feed them. Second, the big bucks have been running their rears off since in like the last weekend of October till really much like right now.
Straight through the rut and everything.
Yeah. So they lost so much body weight. They're tired. They're exhausted. They've got to gain a ton of pounds in weight and fat before winter hits.
Right.
So that helps. And then in spring, it helps with their antler growth.
You're right.
So those are your peak times you want to feed. But I think it was you just said, yes, the more, if you can keep deer on your property with food and safety, you got it.
You're gold.
You're
yeah,
good.
absolutely.
If you can
I
give them
agree.
safety and food religiously, and last year I didn't get to feed just because of work schedule, and I was coming back from Ohio and all that.
Right.
This year I'm going back to what I've always done. As like right now, I start feeding, and you got to afford it. I mean, it costs money.
Yeah.
But you feed all year round until 10 days before deer season. You pull it, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen a big time difference feeding all year round. Antler growth, and that's not why I do it. I don't do it for the antler growth. I do it to keep the deer there.
Absolutely.
Safety, food.
Just like a human, food, water, shelter. That's what they need.
Right.
They're the same. It's a creature of habit and creature of survival, really.
Right.
So I think definitely, I really, really wanted to this year to get in food plots to, get a better inventory than what I did. Just the way it played out with some things going on at work, this year, I mean, for everybody, I'm sure, with the whole virus and all this other shit, it's been crazy.
Right.
So you can't really get your feet up underneath you because something else happens and you got to go take care of this at work or whatever in your life, whatever you got going on. Everybody's got something different, but I definitely want to make it a point this year to try to get in the food plots, do a spring plot to get the deer, hopefully coming in.
Right.
Because realistically, we've been here for a year. I don't know what the hell I've really got. I've seen some decent ones on camera. I know for certain I've got a same buck from last year here just because he's got a giant scar over his eye. I mean, that's the only way I know him. I know that deer is still here. It's just, but I need that good inventory to be able to look at them and decide, how I want to hunt this deer. And this year, realistically, too, because of time restraints, I didn't set cameras out like I really wanted to strategically to be able to capture where they're going, where they're coming. I was basically just trying to see what the hell was out there.
Right.
And I think this year coming, I definitely want to do the food plots, get them in, start feeding, minerals, corn, whatever, what have you, big time. Love that stuff. I really just started using it this year. And I mean, it was a couple days. Yeah, I got some fat raccoons, but you know what? So, and that's the goal for this coming year is definitely getting better about getting out there and getting it established,
Right.
But I guess like just the moral of the story though is like maybe not wait till spring. Maybe like whenever you're tagged out, you're not going to hunt your woods anymore. Whether that's tomorrow at the end of firearm, or that's January 4th. If you're pushing that late archery and muzzleloader, but like maybe it's time to do it now and set yourself up for better success in the spring. Thus continuing that success rolling over to next fall.
Right.
And real quick, and I want to make this an actual episode closer to spring, about food plots.
Definitely. We got a lot of great people that can get on about food plots, different episodes. I mean, there's so many people that are so knowledgeable about that we've got.
Right. And just my thing about food plots, I used to do them like 3 years in a row. I did them. I'm not saying they don't work. They do. You got to make them big.
Definitely. Because, I just talked about the mowing down.
Yes.
Because if you make a small plot, I mean, it ain't gonna last.
No, and that's what I would do. I made a small plot. It grew. It was beautiful, lush or plush.
Luscious,
I think
plushes.
lush is an okay adjective.
All right. But it was nice, a nice established food plot. It lasted maybe a week, and they mowed it down. So you have
They're
to have
little savages, dude.
Well, I mean, you got to have, and it's kind of hard, at least here, at least at the property I hunt, because you're fighting for sun, and then you got to make them big enough to compete with the deer so it can keep growing.
Right.
So it's a lot. I kind of got away from food plots. Again, not saying they don't work. They do. It's just because it's a lot more work.
It's more work than result you're getting.
Yes. I'd rather just feed them.
Yeah.
And keep them in. And like I said, the winter time and the spring is the time to hit them. But like I said, from now till August, I'll feed and put cameras there. And I do that more for an inventory. Okay, what bucks made it?
Mm-hmm.
What bucks didn't? Oh, here's a new buck.
Yeah.
That's my inventory time. Once September hits, now I'm that's when I start moving my cameras around and taking information. Okay, this buck's coming from here. Oh, this buck likes this bedding area.
Right.
Oh, this buck's doing this weird thing. He comes around here by 7 o'clock, and then over here he's at this time. So by September, they're starting to migrate to their fall patterns. But from now till, like I said, through August, it's just inventory.
Right.
This comes September, it's all, strategic. Like,
And that's
Right.
that's what makes the hunting in general. It's an art.
all right.
You can
Yeah.
do all these different things. There's so many experts in so many different areas that his way is the only method to get big bucks, and this guy, and they clash in some areas. And we're going to say stuff out there that some people aren't going to agree with. They're thinking, well, my experience, this works and not that. But that's why it's an art. Like anybody at any given day has a chance to get that monster.
Right.
Anybody.
And even the guys that don't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
And
catch him strolling.
Yeah.
You can, that one picture I sent you guys, that was that guy's first buck. That's a bigger deer than we will ever kill in our lives.
Yeah, for sure.
And he was just in the right spot on the right day.
You get
You know what I
lucky
mean?
for sure. I mean, yes, it comes into planning and strategic, but a lot of it sometimes is skill or not skill, luck too.
Yeah. So, but anyways, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, I'm gonna share everybody my hunting story because I was able to put some more meat in the freezer. So we'll be right back with you.
What's up, everybody? We're back from a break, and as always, we have some deer kills. I say as
Mhm.
always because we've had a pretty good season.
Well, I'm glad you guys have.
But we have some deer
Yeah.
kill talk,
Yeah.
and Mr. T-Bone has got the story for
Yep.
us.
Yep. Was fortunate to put one down. I just want to, before I do that, I just want to add, I added another number into this overall deer count for the state. But as of this morning, the deer harvest, of course, my phone would lock on me now. 101,161. 101,161. Just kind of looking at previous years. We're kind of ahead of the count for the last 3 years.
The head.
We're ahead. That record-breaking 2015 year, we're still about 5,000 behind there. So with the last day of today being firearm, muzzleloader December 5th through the 20-something, I believe. I can't remember. And you got archery all the way through January 3rd. So kind of curious to see, with the firearm ending, if we're going to make any more dramatic jumps or anything like that. But yeah, no, got out to the woods over the weekend. I was going to one property, and about halfway through, I called Cohen, and I was telling him where I was going. I hung up the phone. I was like, I got this gut feeling. That same stand that my wife killed that 10-pointer exactly 2 weeks prior. I was like, you know what? We've always seen deer. Every time we sit in the stand, we've seen deer. So, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I was kind of to the point, brown it's down. So I was going to take a doe or a decent sized buck, respectable. So we get in the stand.
Did you go alone or did you go?
I went
with her?
alone.
Okay.
Yep. I went alone. Got in the stand a little later. Almost 3 o'clock. I was a little upset because stupid internet guy held me up at the house, but finally got in the stand. About 4:30. I hear this little stealth stick snap behind me. So
So
I slowly turn around. I see this little doe, not little, but I see a doe, and I see two little, her children behind her, two does there. I don't want to say yearlings. You know what I mean?
Murderer.
Savage.
No, they weren't yearlings. They were definitely closer to that 2 years old range where they're actually about to break off. You know what I mean? Because bucks or male deer, they split off from mom a lot sooner than female.
Right.
So two does following her, close to age of splitting off. So slowly turn around, I'm looking at them, and I'm like, okay, the way she's walking, she's gonna come on the left side of me. So I get positioned and I'm ready to just come out a little bit further, honey, and we're gonna put the hammer down. Well, she decides to change course like they always do.
Typically.
Right.
So she's walking and she goes, I lose her out of the sight in the back of the tree, but I still see the other two. So I had to be careful on repositioning and turning my body, because by the time she came around, and she was every bit of 15 yards.
Hey, dude, I just realized the bush light can's got the little scan thing on it.
He's gonna see it everywhere now.
Go on, my bad.
No, you're good. But yeah, no, she kind of snuck around me about 15 yards to my right. So it was kind of that chess game where I could only move so much. She'd stop, perk her ears up. She actually made eye contact with me twice. And of course, just froze like a statue.
Yeah.
She didn't seem to care. She walked about, another 10 yards. She's about 25 yards when I put the hammer down on her. Smoked her. It was a little higher than I wanted. High lung shot. She went 25, 30 yards and dropped. I could see the whole thing.
Really?
The two other does followed her, stopped, was like, what the heck? And then they came back. Yeah, they came back, and you guys are making me like I'm out to savage. They didn't have
wake up.
They were older
Wake up,
than yearlings. They were close to 2 years. It's like landing before time right now.
They still had milk on their top lip.
Yeah.
Shut up. They did not have milk on their top lip.
It was Bambi all over again.
Shut. Jeez, you guys are. I think I want to LC with you guys. Anyways, they come back, and actually they were big enough to shoot themselves. Like I said, they were close at 2 years old where they're going to break off any second. So
you could have just fully straight tagged out.
I could have, and I thought about it. I put the crosshairs back because they came back and they were 25 yards from me again. Like they were confused.
They're just dumb.
And I put the crosshairs on it, and I kind of was thinking, I was like, you know what? I want to see both of these does go out there, mature a little bit, and help the herd.
Right.
My wife.
Hell, that one of them does could have been, create the next biggest deer in Indiana. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. And with my wife's buck, we got 50 pounds of ground, 20 pounds of steak. I just put a nice sized doe down. I'm like, that's plenty of meat for us for the year.
And you were alone. Can you imagine field dressing and dragging two does out?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, especially where you were at.
Yeah. This is not an easily accessible. It's a landlocked 40 acres. It's not easy to get
Tanner
to.
literally calls me after. He's like, I am buying the nicest deer sled I can buy next year.
Yeah, dragging that thing out was not fun. But I got over there, came up to her. She fell, and then she flopped backwards 5 more feet. And I didn't see an exit hole, like a hole in general on the side that was propped up right. And I'm like, what the heck?
You're like, did I scare her?
I saw blood everywhere. So I lifted up her legs, and it was just shooting out, like just squeezing like a toothpaste as hard as you can. Just boom, just blood coming out of one hole. Also, I can't really show everybody out there listening, but
we got a camera right there.
Well, we'll take a
YouTube.
picture. We'll throw it on the old Facebook page. But when I was gutting her, I actually found my slug and the wadding in her gut. So I thought that was pretty cool. I took them out, kept them, washed them up. Now they're in a bag with the shell casing. But the old Mossberg 520 gauge. And I always said this incorrectly for years, but it's actually pronounced sabot. It's not sabot. It's pronounced sabot. It's actually a French term.
In Indiana, it's sabot.
Yeah, it's going to be sabot, like I said, in Indiana. But it's actually, like I said, it's pronounced sabot. I thought that was pretty interesting.
It's kind of like, I don't even know where I'm going with that. Go on.
But anyways, no, light field, man. I've used fusion in the past.
Yeah.
And I've killed deer with it, but my wife with that buck, and then I used the light field 20 gauge sabot slug on this, and
sabot.
They only went 30 yards, and then they just dropped. And I know a shotgun's not going to have that velocity, obviously, of what a long rifle is going to bring. But I was really impressed with these light fields for sure.
Well, they bring a lot of energy behind them.
Yeah.
You got to think it's a big old piece of lead.
Yeah, it's like hitting somebody in the head with a brick.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Didn't go 20.
But I'm just saying, like, compared to the fusions, though, I don't know if you guys have ever shot a fusion slug compared to a light field, but I'm impressed with these light fields. So
the one I used, the fusion, it was like that, the ball joint looking one. You know what I'm talking about? I'd have to get them to show you, but I forget how it worked. But like the slug was on like a ball joint kind of looking thing. It was an ACU something. I don't know.
I know you're talking about. Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, it worked when I used shotgun, but.
Well, yep. So dragged that sucker out, dropped it off the meat processor, and called it a year. Honestly, for us boys. Then my stepfather killed a nice sized doe out of his place. He absolutely loves his 450 Bushmaster. I think he said the deer took 2 steps and fell over after he shot it. Like literally, the deer took 2 steps and then fell over.
I'm telling you, that guy is a straight wildlife assassin.
Yeah, he's
for sure, dude.
He's got some good stories. We'll try to get him on the show in the future, but he can tell you a story about just about anything he's killed.
You walk into his man cave and it's like, wow, I've never even seen one of those animals before.
You think you're in Cabela's.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a miniature Cabela's.
Yeah, dude. It's great. And a lot of beer in there.
Yeah. But no, like I'm a believer in 450. That's what I use. God, I love that gun.
After you kind of talked a lot about your 450, like on our way back from vacation, I remember Seth was just like stroking the 450 off like till it came, and that kind of got me thinking, because like we talked, I don't even know what week it was. I don't even know, dude. We're 8 episodes in. I'm already losing track about the velocity with the round just zipping through. But with the 450, like you talk about, it's giving you a decent blood trail. So if in the event you do have to track it, you've at least got something to go off of.
Right. Well, both deer that I shot with it, because I've had it for 2 years now. So both bucks that I've shot with it, one this year, one last year, they didn't go 20 yards. Honestly, I know we joke around about didn't go 20.
Yeah.
But it honestly didn't go 20.
Yeah.
I mean, the blood trail was ridiculous. I'm a believer.
Nice. So
yeah, I might have to look into one of them. I don't know.
I'm definitely that might be an off season purchase along with a 243 for the wife. So
well, and I know that like Rural King's got their like Cyber Gun Day calling tomorrow for like Cyber Monday thing.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, I haven't seen they put a couple things up. It's not been anything that I would ever use for hunting. They've got like some 22 revolvers, like some cool single action revolvers, and a couple ARs. That's like the big hype now is ARs and shit like that. But like a solid rifle for that you could use hunting. I haven't seen anything quite like that. Now, granted, they're not super expensive, especially like you got like what, a CZ, I think it is.
CVA.
Okay, it's a CVA,
Yeah.
and it wasn't very expensive. It's a single shot, but I mean,
It's a break open single shot CVA Hunter, I believe is the model. It came with a scope. It wasn't a really good scope, but it was a scope you could do something with.
Yeah.
But scope, gun, brand new, even came with a nice case. Out the door, $250. That's what tax.
You can't beat that.
No.
Well,
I mean,
if
and
they're
it's
having
made-
a gun
and made
sale
in America.
tomorrow, we need to wait and post this because I don't want anybody knowing about that.
it'll be sold out tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Right.
All of our 3 listeners.
Well, and that's the thing, like especially with the virus, I'm surprised honestly they've got anything to sell because it's been insane, dude. Like
ammo, yeah.
Since like March, because whenever I was kind of fortunate enough to kind of see the writing on the wall, and March, late February, early March, when this bullshit started happening, really, the big craze at first was toilet paper. Why you need 600 rolls of toilet paper for 2 people? I don't know.
Yeah.
If you can't wipe your ass, like use a leaf. I'm sorry. You'll be just fine.
Right.
But
or go take a shower.
Why don't you just poop in the shower, I guess?
That's true. I
Just
mean, you
wash
could.
it.
I mean, yeah. If you got a
That's
septic system, you're good to
messed
go.
up.
Yeah.
It's messed
Yeah.
up.
But no, like I kind of saw the writing on the wall with everybody freaking out, and I literally said this out loud. I'm like, everybody's buying toilet paper, but what they're not going for is one, canned goods. At that time, nobody was buying canned goods. It was just straight paper towels and toilet paper.
It took like another week or 2 for everybody to realize, oh, we need
food.
food to go along with
weird.
the toilet paper.
Yeah, weird
You
idiots.
can't poop if you don't eat.
Yeah. So so we went to Rural King, and nobody was really touching much of ammo at the time. And I was like, this is the time to get it. Not because I'm worried about World War III breaking out, because I'll be just fine. Yeah.
Me too.
But
We will be.
more so like deer season or hunting season, or I want to go shoot in the backyard. Like, I'm sorry, you can't find ammo for anything. You're kind of shafted.
Mhm.
So luckily I was smart enough to see that, and I bought a lot of ammo. And then I'm kind of like the same asshole buying toilet paper. Like, what do you need all that for? I don't, but damn it, you're not gonna be able to find it. And I was
For
right.
months,
I was
yeah.
right,
Have
and
you
you still
seen-
can't.
Have you seen Walmart?
Oh, it's bare.
Walmart.
You
in
can buy a
46
couple like shotgun shells.
No.
That's it.
Oh yeah, shotgun shells. I went to Walmart in 46 last weekend. Not this weekend. The weekend before. Not a single gun on the shelf. Not a single gun, and a select few of shotgun shells. That's it.
Yeah, I know Greencastle. We were there today. I know they had a couple like 308 rifles that were there, a couple shotguns. They had a 44 lever action Henry,
Mhm.
but they're the more expensive guns there. But yeah, same thing. The little lock case they have with ammo, they're what, I don't even know why they had it locked. There wasn't
Right,
shit in
yeah.
there.
Right.
And then they had like some of the cheaper shotgun shells, like your target loads and shit like
Mhm.
that. Some. If you had all I had was like 28 gauge and a couple 2 3/4 inch 12 gauge shells. There wasn't nothing. I just
Mhm.
hiccuped real bad.
Yeah.
I wonder what happened there. I wonder.
Yeah, but like I said, they didn't have anything, and and Rural King's the same way. It's like a few years. Well, I don't know. Say a few years. It's been a little more than a few, but like the 22 ammo if you guys remember, went stupid.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, that was probably 4 years ago. That was before.
It's a little longer
It
ago.
was
I
like
remember.
6-8 years ago, actually.
But
yeah.
it went stupid for whatever reason. Everybody was
Well,
freaking out.
because you got to put it this way. Let's say the crap does hit the fan. Okay, nothing's in stores you can buy to eat. You gotta hunt for your food.
Yeah.
And everybody's fighting each other because people that don't know how to hunt is going to start robbing houses,
Absolutely.
breaking into houses
Absolutely.
and taking their food.
Good
So,
luck.
Yeah, we live out in the country, but we still are in an earshot away from somebody.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you want to take a shotgun or a rifle, like a big rifle, out and shoot something? Now everybody knows where you're at.
Yep.
And you just shot at an animal, so then they can potentially come and take the animal from you,
Mm-hmm.
or take a 22 that doesn't make too much noise, pop a couple squirrels, or even really kill a deer if you shoot it in the head, right?
If needed, yeah.
Right. It's not that loud. Boom, you got your meat. And it's cheaper to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So,
man, you guys are getting like all Walking Dead right now. Humans turning on each other.
I think I would do okay.
I would do okay.
Well,
I think I would.
We have our plan, so
Yeah.
Right.
And if you ever try to come here, you're fucking screwed.
That's number 2.
yeah. And he was going to hold it back, and he chose not to.
Yeah.
I had to. That
No.
was needed.
Yeah, well, but we got to give him props. So we had a talk. We're like, hey, with potential sponsors and kids listening in, we don't want to be censored. We don't want to change who we are.
We're not going to change who we are. We're not going to, censor ourselves, but we're going to clean up our language.
Oh, yeah.
For more appropriate, because we tried to advertise more on Facebook for some, really everybody didn't know this, but us three, and Facebook kept shutting us down in areas. Like we had to raise our audience because we talk about beer and guns on here. We actually had to raise our audience to 21 years or older because we talk about a beer of the week. So we're not going to play the game, but we're going to abide by the rules a little bit.
And unfortunately, it comes to a point where you got to kind of play the game.
Yeah.
As bad as it is, because if you don't play the game, then you just
you can't get.
We're just here talking to ourselves.
Yeah.
If you become Joe Rogan, it's a different story.
Oh yeah,
dude. But that's Joe Rogan.
Lighting up
right,
a dude with Elon Musk.
Right.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
right.
But
that's a different story.
But here, just 2 or 3 random guys in a garage talking about this side or the other. Like you got to play the game.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I hate to be like that because I hate social media. I wish it would all just kind of go away. To be honest with you, get back to the good old days. But that's not the world anymore. It revolves around that, So if you don't play the game, like I said, we're just 3 guys talking to ourselves on microphones in a garage.
Yeah.
For now.
So,
but
I do want to say a quick, just before I forget, I just want to say one quick shout out to one of our, I'm going to call her a super fan because they listen every week. And she actually let her boy, Goose, out there play Call of Duty with us the other night. Mallory, thank you for listening. And, we also thank you for letting Goose play Call of Duty with us. Keep listening, and maybe we'll get you on the show. I don't know. You don't know anything about hunting. I don't know. But keep on keeping on.
That's right. Speaking of some shout outs, I know we got a couple I like to get into. First and foremost, good buddy of mine, Sean, he's got a son, Cam. I know he listens to the podcast every once in a while. I just got a picture of a nice buck that he just killed tonight. So I just wanted to shout out to Cam. Congrats on I want to say it's his first buck. I could be wrong.
How big was it again?
It was a 7 point, I think it was.
Nice.
Yeah, but it was a nice deer.
It looked like it had a good body on it.
It did. So congrats to him.
Yeah, congratulations, man.
Yeah,
real excited for him. So that's awesome. I love it.
Eat those back straps. They're delicious.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. And maybe one of these days he'll be killing, probably like next week, he'll be killing bigger deer than his dad, So.
And I don't think we're going to end the show yet. We still have.
We got.
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
don't get worried.
Yeah, we
don't get
scared. More
scared.
stuff. I want to go ahead and I have a couple shout outs as well. So
a couple shit outs.
Did I say that?
It sounded like it. Like you stuttered and
okay, let me start over because I don't want that going badly. I have a couple shout outs.
There we go.
As well. So we finally got our Instagram page up and going.
So make sure to find it and like it.
Yes, Hoosier BackCountry. Actually, I think it's Hoosier BackCountry Podcast on Instagram, but still.
Let me find out for you. Keep talking.
So we finally got that going. 4 days. I think we got close to 600 followers, which is awesome. Thank you guys, by the way, if you're listening. Thank you for that. And you guys are being really, is it reactive?
I mean, I don't know what you're trying to say.
liking stuff.
Yeah.
Active. You guys are liking the crap out of our stuff. That's awesome. Now just listen.
Yeah.
But we thank you for
And the handle on that's just Hoosier BackCountry.
is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's our name obviously is Hoosier BackCountry Podcast, but the actual, if you typed it in as @ it would be just Hoosier BackCountry. Yeah.
Okay. But yes, I want to say first and foremost, thank you for all the followers on Facebook and Instagram first. But the two that I want to shout out is the first one is Cross Rifle Nation. They reached out to us, I think 2 days ago.
On Instagram, right?
Yep, on Instagram. So go over, it's called @Cross Rifle Nation on Instagram. I don't think they have a Facebook page, but they're definitely on Instagram. Go give them a like, shout them out, thumbs up. They have some pretty good stuff. If you like any kind of freedom shooters, pews, guns, aka.
Well, you said pew pew. I started thinking Star Wars for a second.
If you like anything that shoots gun and yells freedom, they've got it. And it's a pretty cool page. But
He's got a good setup there.
Yeah,
I like
so
it.
go out there. The next one is Discount Hunting Shop. I want to say thank you guys. They also did some shout outs for us. Go out there and follow them. They have some really good stuff on their page. They sell stuff at a discount, pretty good prices, pretty good gear. I'm probably going to be buying some stuff.
Oh,
off of
for
them.
sure.
I'm
Yeah,
already-
dude. I checked it out the other day and I was like, oh yeah, man. Like this isn't your Walmart nonsense. Like,
Right.
you know, your Mossy Oak Walmart brand jacket. I mean, they got some good stuff. Lacrosse. I've seen some Lone Wolf hunting gear on there.
Mhm.
I did see a couple coyote hunting products on there. I
Yes.
might be interested in.
Yeah. So
Also,
I'll
both
come
of these pages are out of Indiana, right?
both of them are local. Yes.
Nice.
Indiana boys.
Yep.
So,
Got to keep it strong.
yep. And I think we're going to have Cross Rifle Nation on here so we can talk about some guns and
I
what
like
goes
that.
into that, his page. So that's going to be coming up pretty soon. Hopefully have the Discount Hunting Shop coming on, talk and
That'll be
do
fun.
their thing. So we're
It's the big
excited.
scheduling nightmare, you know, trying to get our schedule's hard enough, and then
Right.
we want to get somebody else in, but hell, we'll do what we can, man, for
Right.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
And this COVID doesn't make it easy either because I know we have two other guys we've tried to get on the
Yep.
on the podcast.
That it's
but
been affected. Yeah.
between just they don't have COVID, but they've been affected by it or quarantine, all the bull crap. So
Right.
we're trying, guys. Hang with us. We're trying to get guys on here. But
Oh, always, man.
Yeah, I know. Like last week having Jeremy on, that was
Oh, that was
That was
a
freaking
blast.
awesome,
That
you
was a
know?
blast.
that's
I
yeah.
love-
he's a good dude.
I love getting somebody else's input on something else. Like
Oh, yeah.
we all kind of know how we stand on some things, you know, and
Right.
to get somebody else in that maybe you don't talk to every single day or you don't know really them that well, but you're interested to hear their thoughts and
Mhm.
and ideas on some things, like just bringing that new opinion in. I think that's awesome. I mean, that's just crazy. And I learn so much every time we do something like that,
Right.
whether it's, you know, us three talking about maybe something that we don't know too much about, but maybe like Seth, you know, a lot about, you know, trapping. I don't, you know, I learn a
Mhm.
lot about that kind of stuff,
Right.
you know, so
And we all know how to deer hunt, but Tanner might look at something different than you.
Oh,
Right.
yeah,
I
everybody's
might
got their
look-
own perspective.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
You put those two together, and then it just makes it that much better. you know?
Right.
You get each other thinking.
Yeah.
But then also, like we've hit on the past, like this is Hoosier BackCountry. I mean, we're not just hunting. We're fishing. We're going to talk about some hiking, some camping. Also, I'm going to kind of hit on the camping real fast.
you're the camping man.
Dude, we love travel trailer camping. And anybody out there that's listening this weekend, if you haven't done it yet, you're already wrong. You need to book those spots for Memorial Day weekend. Because, I mean, that's 6 months out. I know that's nobody thinks that far ahead. But if you want a good spot at a state campground, start booking now. So,
Mhm.
And if you just happen to listen to this podcast and you frequent at Raccoon Lake Campground,
mhm.
let us know. Memorial Day weekend, we will be there.
Yep.
With old T-Bone, drinking some brewskis.
We're gonna have our setup there. We're probably gonna. I think we're gonna plan on doing a live.
Yep, we're gonna do our
Oh, that'd
first.
be
We're gonna do our
awesome.
first community. That's what we're kind of planning our first community event.
Yeah, that'd be
Um,
sweet,
I
dude.
think we're gonna have, we're gonna record for like an hour or whatever, and then we're gonna probably have like a social hour afterwards where people can stop by, chat with us, drink a beer, tell us their stories, any ideas they want us to talk about, any requests, and it'll be fun.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And we're gonna bring. We've already talked about this.
Oh,
us
yeah.
three. The Pit Boss Grill is coming up with us to Raccoon Lake.
Yep.
Mhm.
I'm probably gonna spend the next 6 months thinking and purchasing giant slabs of meat that we can cook and smoke all week long.
Right.
I'm taking that week off
Well,
work. I'm
that
excited.
that
Yeah.
alone will draw people there. If they
That's what I'm
smell.
saying. Well,
Right.
this is a perfect marketing right here. We're gonna put our
Just
logo,
look- that banner.
that banner on Tanner's camper, and then I'm gonna throw a brisket on the pit boss,
And
and the
then-
whole campground will be there.
They're gonna walk by and they're like, "That smells really good."
Yeah.
Who's your well, backcountry is supposed to be 2 words, but they got it was 1 word.
I
But
did it
we'll
on
check
purpose.
it out. I know. I gotta give you a hard time sometimes.
Big B, big C.
That's
All
right. That's like basically 2 words, right?
Right.
Yeah.
If you got like a 25 character count, and you're at 26, you just take the space out.
Exactly.
You're good to go.
I mean, yeah. But no,
Well, we all know how. Well, not all of us, but us 3 in here know how Seth got through senior year of English.
Taylor Payne. I'll go ahead and shout her out. She got me through pretty much high school, but senior year. Thank you, by the way. But
but
yeah, if you go to Raccoon Lake, look for that banner, that poster, whatever you want to call it.
I tell you what, like next week, I think I'm just gonna order a giant sticker and we're just gonna put it on the side of Tanner's camper.
Yeah, well, we could just
you
wrap
gotta
this
talk to my
camper.
wife about that one. You guys gonna talk to my wife?
I'll
about
say,
that one?
Ashley, do you not support our dreams? Come on.
But I think we are planning on doing a lot more community events. I know the COVID's kind of putting a wrench and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I know Raccoon Lake's gonna be one. I don't know. I did send an email to the Boat Sport and Travel Show up in Indy. I don't even know if they're having it this year because I was trying.
I don't know.
So
Someone for like, has it already? That happens in the
No.
summer, right?
no, February or March-ish.
Ooh, yeah, I don't know, dude.
It's usually like February 20 something.
I know all the ATAs got canceled.
So it probably did too.
I
That's
think
probably
that was
why I haven't heard back
for
from them.
yeah, that might have sucked.
So maybe next year. I mean,
We'll
we're
have our
trying-
own.
What?
Let's just have our own travel show,
Oh,
just in the back. of you.
put it in the back of my truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Just drive through town and
Yeah.
stop at random places.
But I think we're going to try to get to the the Deer Turkey Expo, maybe some ATA shows eventually, but community events.
Right.
And like I said, if you do stop by, I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there. It'll be on me, my little treat. If you stop by Raccoon Lake, and we'll remind you.
Yeah, we'll give you a site number. We'll give you a date, time, whenever it gets closer. Obviously,
Yeah, we still got time.
We
Just don't
have
come-
I have our site reserved. I can't remember.
yeah,
what
just
day.
don't come and not want
or
to
what-
drink beer. That's all I
Yeah.
can say.
I mean, come talk to us. And where I'm getting at is, if you come up, like I said, we'll remind you throughout the year until it comes time. But if you show up, have some beer, a beer. Heck, don't even have a beer. Just
hold
show
it.
up.
You just hold
come,
it.
Just
Hold
come
the
up.
beer.
Hold a beer. Hold it in your hands.
Yeah.
Cradle like a baby. If you
Like a little
come,
baby.
if you come, show up. The first, I don't know. We'll see how this year goes. But I'm gonna give out some free merch
I like
because
it.
and we have t-shirts, hoodies, koozies, stickers, decals. Decals already out, but definitely those things.
We got some stuff in the works
We
for
got
sure.
some
Yeah.
stuff coming up. So I'm probably gonna, one of each, 2 of each. Heck, I don't know. I might get froggy and get a lot. But if you show up, shoot, I'll give you some.
We might just have an open table. Take whatever you want.
Yeah,
You know, I
Yeah.
might be broke the next day, but that's okay.
but it's okay.
That's part of it.
You guys are definitely trying to make us go broke.
How many
first.
beers do you want? I mean, you can have all the beer too.
Here's my credit
Yeah.
card.
Here's my truck. Here's my house. You can just have it.
Sweet. So,
So-
but yeah, I know we got some big plans for the upcoming year. Obviously, 2020 has been a drag on everybody.
Oh, dude, it's been horrible.
Come New Year's Eve, if I don't know what you just said.
Don't end it.
I'm not ending. I'm not. Trust me.
We got
No,
plenty
I'm
of
just saying,
talking.
like,
Right.
New Year's Eve, 11:59 p.m. and the clock strikes 61 seconds. You know what? 2.0, 2020 2.0.
Right, dude.
But,
Hopefully, COVID just like disappears. Like,
oh my
like,
gosh,
poof,
yes.
and just
I
goes away.
Doubt it.
I'm just
But,
hoping.
I'm
dude.
hopeful.
Like it all goes away, and I make $3 billion that day. Who knows?
But well, I know we've been talking about deer hunting a lot, and we are Hoosier BackCountry.
Mhm.
So we're not just deer hunting. Obviously, we love deer hunting, but deer hunting's coming to a close. We
For
know
some.
trapping season's coming up, rabbit season, coyote hunting with night vision, or even daytime. I know there's a lot of people interested in us talking about that, having people on. I've got a couple people in mind for that. Jeremy's one of them.
Yep.
And then I've got another guy in mind that really good coyote hunter, which I do all three. So we'll talk about that. And then I think close after that's turkey hunting and fishing, and camping, and shoot. we'll talk about all kinds of stuff. Heck, I think I'll talk to the guys about this off air too. But we need to start doing some more like tent camping and like get the kayaks out.
Oh
fish
yeah,
and stuff.
for sure.
actually, like
Some
hiking.
straight
Yeah.
backcountry.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and I know Tanner and I did that one night this past
I
summer.
worked. I remember. Yeah.
Yep. But we threw a tent up, freaking cooked right there on the fire. Didn't have anything real fancy.
Yeah.
Sat out by the fire, drank beer, had a good time, and then went kayak fishing.
Yeah. Straight
You know?
roughing it, dude.
Yeah.
That's stuff I like. You know, and
Oh,
we
yeah.
got a lot of big things planned as far as, you know, this summer coming. But I know we kind of got a little bit of an elk hunt getting planned here.
Yep. And that's something else I want to touch on. We're going to take another break. This one is a pee break. So
I gotta pee real
we're going to
bad.
take another break. But then I'm going to touch on something exciting come up for me, at least. And then we'll talk about maybe about the elk hunt.
Yeah.
Then we'll wrap up tonight for you guys and look
Sounds
forward
good.
to episode 9.
Just make sure get those spots reserved. Also, just end on the camping. It's that time of year. Make sure you get that antifreeze in those lines and winterize your camper. My wife and I had really good success on keeping mice out. We park our camper in an old work barn, so it keeps it out of the elements of winter and everything. But bounce dryer sheets. I know a lot of people use Irish soap. Or we're done?
No, 30 seconds.
Well, bounce dryer sheets. Put those all over. It's going to keep those critters out. We had good success. But everybody, will be right back. Everybody, welcome back to Hoosier BackCountry. We're glad you're still joining us. Seth, I heard through the grapevine you got a mule deer hunt planned next year.
I do.
So tell us a little bit about that, bud.
Yeah, so me, my dad, my brother, for a while now, we've wanted to do a hunt. Turkey and, you know, what, deer, didn't matter. We've always wanted to elk hunt in Colorado. That will happen one day. But we got talking. I was like, dude, mule deer would be really fun to do. They're a big whitetail pretty much. And it's a different kind of hunting. So we got talking, doing research, and we're like, yeah, we're doing a mule deer hunt. So we're going to Idaho. So they have a hunt in August and in September. But we're going to go to Idaho on a mule deer hunt, bow hunting. It was originally going to be a gun hunt, but through the research, it's overran with gun hunters. And we don't want to, I'm not saying you're not going to run into a bow hunter, but there's less of them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I want us to have
You
less
increase
run-ins.
your chances.
Yeah, I want to increase the chances and not run into so many hunters. That's the biggest thing, is running into people.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you got to get in closer, but that too, you know,
That's the rush of it, dude.
yeah. I mean, and it's not like you're sitting in a deer stand. You'll be, you know, walk a little bit, you glass, and you just keep doing that until you find one, either bedded down or, you know, with does up there or something, and then you figure out how you're going to stalk them.
Yep.
Get up or get downwind, I guess, you know, or
Downwind of them, yeah.
Yes. Get downwind of them and then make your stalk, hopefully not get busted. That's the whole thing. I mean, you're not only trying to find them, but then you got to get close enough to shoot them and then make the shot with a bow.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
So we got that going.
And that's next year, right?
This coming up year. Yep. September, August, September. I'm buying my tag December 1st. They go on sale over the counter. So
how much is that going to run?
Actually, it's pretty cheap. It's $360. That's for the tag, a depredation tag. That's out of state tag. $301 is out of state mule deer tag with a bow, archery. Then you have a depredation tag, which is $10, and then another $20 for an archery tag. They try to get you anywhere they can.
Yeah, out west, you really got to do your research and make sure you're getting the right set of tags for what you're wanting to hunt, because it is very confusing. It's not like Indiana where you can, you know, log in and buy a firearm buck tag
or a bundle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of stuff, and then, you know, if I'm not mistaken from the research that I've done on it, out west, a lot of places like, you know, Colorado and Idaho, they go by units for what you can hunt, especially like with elk. You know, it's a unit of what you can hunt, and it's this specific area. It's just, there's just so much shit that goes into it. It's so difficult to kind of wrap your head around. So you really got to have somebody that either has done it or has looked into it enough to know what the hell they're doing.
Right.
You know,
and that's the thing too, because, you know, Idaho is number 2 in mule deer. Like, that's population and big ones. I don't care about a big one. I just want to kill one.
Yeah.
It'd be fun though.
I mean,
yeah.
But I want to being the population of them.
Mhm.
Right. So Idaho comes in number 2. I think Colorado's 1. But Colorado's different. You're talking thin air,
Yeah.
extreme.
Now Idaho's got
weather.
their mountains and stuff too. I got a good friend that lives in Idaho.
Right.
But it's not Colorado.
right.
You know.
Mhm.
And so, but they were saying in Idaho, you want to look from the panhandle, because Idaho has like a panhandle
Mhm.
thing. Southeast of the panhandle is where the most of the population of mule deer are. So I have a
Which-
map on my phone.
It works
There's
out
like
because it's closer.
Huh?
It works out because
Yeah.
it's closer to here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
that too.
Yeah.
But there's like a unit map I have on my phone. So there's like, I don't know, 8 or 10 units that we can focus on with a bunch of public land, which we'll be able to hunt
Yeah.
for mule deer. But we're excited. But Cohen, you brought up something I didn't know, I guess, but I'm gonna look into about not using fixed blades or not using
Mechanical.
mechanical.
Yeah,
blades,
and that's
sorry.
a thing I've heard just from listening to a few podcasts and a few things that I've read. I would really like to get in because I know, like, we'll get to the elk hunt here in just a little bit, but I've looked into a couple things. I really just need to get in and look at the regulations. And granted, yes, not all of them are very clear, but at least give me some guidelines. And hell, if I need to, I'll call an officer over there. But from the things I've heard and read, it's like mechanical broadheads aren't legal in Idaho. I could be totally wrong. Like, don't take my word for it.
Mhm.
That's just what I've heard, you know? So it's the fixed blade only state, from my understanding, which
Yeah.
is interesting.
Kind
And
of
make sure you check on the albino also.
that too.
You know,
Yeah.
and I don't know if that's because of, I don't
They're
even know.
bigger, I guess.
I don't even know why that would even be,
I don't know.
unless it's something to do with like the people that get crazy about rage, like, oh, they never deploy. I don't know if it's got something to do with
But I've
that.
never had a problem.
Me
And that's,
either.
I'm a rage guy.
As
and
am
that's-
I, yeah, definitely.
That kind of makes me nervous. I mean, I've been out of the fixed blade game for so long. I don't know what's good and what's not now.
If I
I
had
mean-
just because of what you see, if I had to use a fixed blade, it would probably be like the G5 Monotech. Honestly,
I haven't seen those. I want
it's just if it's your fixed blade. I mean, it's simple.
my thing about
you know?
my thing. Why I like rage? Yes, the blood trail's freaking amazing, but it's how big the cut is.
Oh yeah, do they? I mean,
mean,
it's slap holes for sure.
They're not living.
Yeah.
You know. So when it comes to a fixed blade, I want a big honking cut. But then the bigger you go, the more they fly different.
Right.
So that's where I'm like, what do we do? So I've got to do a lot of research, and I'm gonna probably be buying a bunch of brands and
Definitely.
trying them out.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, there's no other way around.
Yeah,
it.
because and you know, I could be totally wrong with this because I'm not educated with the, I guess, the scientifics of bow shooting. You know, like I like the rages because when they're folded up, they fly like a field tip.
Mhm.
You know, granted, I know they say that on the package, but they legit do.
No, yeah, they do. They do.
You know, but I'm sure using a fixed blade, you might have to do some adjustments, especially
Oh.
with your arrow setup. You know, because are you going to use the Black Eagles?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that might be something you got to kind of look into.
Well, I've used fixed blades a long time ago, before mechanicals really a thing. Muzzy, I think we used the Bear broadhead. Those were junk, but the Muzzies we used a lot.
Yeah.
And you did when it come, you'd shoot your field points, all summer. But then before deer season came, you'd have to get your Muzzies out and then go buy a broadhead target, and you had to sight your bow in
Right.
for your Muzzies. But then, during season, if you wanted to shoot your bows to the target, you're going to be off a little.
Yeah.
So that's all. I'm like, man, this is a hassle. But I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Right.
If it's fixed blade only, I'm gonna have to do it. But I don't want to go out there with junk equipment. I know my bow's good. I bought new binoculars, Vortec, freaking nice.
Oh, did you buy some Vortex? Really?
I forget the model number, but they were like shy of $300.
See, I'm after the rangefinder. I'm definitely impartial to loophole.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've had my eye set on a loophole set of binos, and that's what I'll be buying for the elk hunt for sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
But I like that's the thing. I want a good equipment.
But I've got nothing wrong against Vortex. I mean, I've never used it personally, so I don't know any different.
Mhm.
But just like I said, from the rangefinder having it, I
Right.
guess that kind of sold me impartial to it. You
Right.
know?
Well, we have a couple scopes. I have a couple scopes on my gun. My dad has a couple. We love the scopes. I'm like, screw it. I got them. I love them. As of right now, I do.
I know
But
they have a great warranty on them as well.
They do.
It's like literally you could literally throw them in the toilet and flush them, and they'll send you a new pair.
Yeah, I mean, you can run them over with your truck.
Yeah, dude, it's
and they'll-
solid.
Yeah.
It's solid.
But yeah, I mean, I have good equipment, and I'm gonna be getting a HHA single pin because you're going to be shooting farther
Yep.
out there. I mean, you're looking 60 easy,
Yep.
maybe 80 if you're comfortable. So I'm going to have to get an HHA sight, which I already know what sight I'm getting. I've had one before, loved it.
Yeah.
That's no big deal. I'll have to practice long range. No big deal. I can shoot 60 now, but to fix blade. That's the only thing about this whole hunt that's making me nervous is what blade to use.
Right.
Well, I'm sure once you do your homework and, like you said, practice a little bit, you'll be solid.
And unfortunately, to find the one that works for you and that's best for you or you're really happy with, probably going to cost you a little bit because whatever reason, broadheads are not cheap.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Unless you're buying some shitty, Allen brand, Walmart brand,
Right.
That's neither here nor there,
Well, let's hear about this elk hunt, Co.
Yeah, so I kind of brought it up a while back. Whitetail hunting will be forever my number one, definitely. But the more you think about it, there's like that once in a lifetime opportunity you can take. Maybe unless just for me personally, it's probably a once in a lifetime thing we can do. Would be to do an out west hunt, especially for elk. So I brought up a while back, like, hey, I'm really kind of interested in doing this. Let's kind of think about it. And, you guys were like, yeah, let's do it for sure. So we've been trying to, really look into what state because what are the chances that we can all draw an over the counter tag? Right. Or no, I'm sorry, not over time, draw a tag.
Right.
It's very slim, so we got to find somewhere that we can get over the counter tags. Now, let's be realistic. If us three go hunting, we're not all three of us are tagging out.
No.
We'll be lucky if one of us does. Just being realistic.
Right. Especially with a bow.
Exactly.
I mean,
but that's not even the point. Tagging out's not even the thing.
All right.
If you called me or Tanner, if you call me tomorrow and we're like, hey, I got an over the counter elk tag for myself. Do you want to come hunting with me? Just like scouting? Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the fact that I want to, definitely 100%. Do I want to kill an elk? Yeah, 100%. But if we can just go out there and just live that and experience that, I'd be set, dude. I'd be so happy. So yeah, we're really trying to get that kind of planned out. Been doing a ton of research, talking to some people, because this is all new. I've never hunted out west. It's only been here in Indiana. I've hunted down in Georgia, hog hunt and stuff like that, but that's nowhere even close to this caliber of hunting, So it's like trying to find the best unit. I don't want to say the best unit per se, but a decent unit we can get into that's not a draw unit.
That has elk.
Yeah, that's got the population of elk,
not overran with people,
right? And trying to find the best time of the year because I'm still learning about elk. This isn't going to be a next year thing.
Right.
This is going to be a couple years down the road because I don't want to go in there like a dipshit, just trying to bugle my face off trying to find an elk. I want to be able to be knowledgeable enough to go in and know where they're going to be at or read the terrain, so that's kind of the goal is just a ton of research, finding the best unit, the best state, getting it all planned out together. It's just going to be, it's one of them things, dude, you just can't beat whether you kill one or not, just being out there away from everything, with your two best friends in the world. It's just that you can't fucking beat it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You can't.
Well, and the thing we got to, and it's kind of like, whoa, there's a lot of things to do between now and then, even though I have 7 months, 8 months to do it.
That's not a lot of time.
No,
realistically.
You gotta think, and that's the thing, the gear. Okay, yeah, I got my bow, I got my arrows. Okay,
Yeah.
I could figure out the fixed plays somewhat easy. Okay, camos, I got them, but you're going out in a different terrain.
Yep.
You're talking boots. You got to get your optics.
Yep.
Not only are you shooting different, but it's just a total. Are you going to do drop camps or are you going to come back to the truck every night?
Yeah.
Well, personally, I want to do drop camps.
Absolutely.
Because the farther in you go, the better chances you got.
Yeah. Because I'm sorry, but there's people in the world, in the United States especially, that they're not going to go as deep as me personally, or any of you guys would be willing to go because they're lazy.
Yep.
They're all going to be hunting off the roadside, 60, 70 yards or a mile, give or take. They're not going to be wanting to push, 5, 6, 7, 8 miles into the wilderness to try to get on those elk because they're just like whitetails. They're going where they feel safe.
Right.
And it damn sure ain't up close because everybody's going to be up there.
Right.
And absolutely 100% with the gear thing, that's why we started kind of talking about this a couple years in the future, because I mean, I'm not a millionaire. I know none of you guys are either. And that shit ain't cheap
Right.
because you definitely don't want to buy a Walmart set of boots and go out and then the shit just take a shit on you.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
And then you're
Then
out
what?
there.
Then what? I
Right.
mean, you can't. Amazon doesn't airdrop. I'm sorry.
Right. Well, then you know, let's say you do a base camp. You got to take a tent, cookware, somewhat, your hunting gear,
Yeah.
period, yourself. If it rains, extra
Water,
close water,
Food. Yeah.
food rations. You got to take all this in a
Definitely.
pack. Okay, you could probably get that, you know, and carry that with you all day
Yeah.
and hunt. Yeah, you could make a camp up somewhere, like a base camp somewhere deep in there, and some of that could stay behind. But let's say you get one. You can't take four-wheelers or side-by-sides to get
Right.
this animal. You've got to quarter it out and pack that thing out.
Right.
Back to base camp.
Mm-hmm.
Then once you get to camp and you're done, you got to get it back to the truck.
Yep.
Who knows how many miles? Now you have all your hunting, camping, and then now an animal that weighs 400,
Yeah. Whatever you decide to bring
300,
out.
400. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, there's a lot to
is.
think about, a lot to do. I mean, let's say 3 of us goes. Okay, let's say we go for a week. Let's just say the first day Tanner gets one. We're gonna have a full day.
Oh,
Let's say
absolutely.
he gets it in the evening. That next day is gonna be nothing but packing that thing out.
Absolutely.
Several trips, because I can guarantee you, us 3 can't do it in one load.
No, there's
Mhm.
no way.
And then if it's a mile in there, you're walking, and it's not flat.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah, for sure.
so it's gonna be a full day just packing one out,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're gonna try to have to get one. Yeah, there's a lot
Definitely.
that goes into this.
Absolutely. And that's kind of it's intimidating. I'm not
Mhm.
gonna lie. It is kind of intimidating, you know, because it's not a hunt like that's not anything I've ever experienced. And I don't think any of us have,
No.
realistically. And yeah, the terrain's got a lot to do with it, and the distance too, because you know, here in Indiana, if I kill a deer somewhere, like the most I've got's, I don't know, 700 yards
Yeah.
to drag it
Right.
before I can get a vehicle to it. You know, you kill something out west, you're talking miles,
Right.
you know, potentially before you can get even
Close
back to
the vehicle.
camp.
Right. Or
You know?
camp. Yeah.
Depending on how far out you push during the hunt that day, you know.
Mhm.
And another thing too, that I talked to a good friend of mine here a while back, and he's like, we were talking about elk hunting. He's been on several of them, and you know, I'm like just trying to like just pick his brain about everything, and he's like, you need to invest in a good GPS
Mm.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
because you get out there, and it's not like here where you can walk and hit something sometime. He's
Right,
like,
there's gonna be a
you
road
can
eventually.
go forever and not hit anything, and then you just get lost, and then
And
you're
can't-
screwed.
And you're not calling 911.
There's
No,
no cell
So
service.
you don't get cell service.
Yeah.
So there's
Right.
no Google Maps.
Yeah, exactly,
So-
exactly. You know, and GPS is, and like we talked about with like boots or something. I don't want to buy something that's just cheap,
Mhm.
then to go out there and then need it, and then it doesn't work for us. Then you're
Mhm.
fucked.
Right.
You know, you're screwed, man.
Right.
There's nothing you can do.
You
You're
went all that way and you have no boots.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And you got to think, you have to have this gear, but you have to carry it too.
right,
So it's not like you can pack your house on your back and
Yep.
go. You can't. And you got
ounces
have-
equal pounds, pounds equal pain.
Yep. I mean, you guys know it more than anybody, you know, but you got, heaven forbid this doesn't happen. But you got to think first aid too.
Absolutely,
You go out there and twist an ankle, break something,
right.
cut yourself open. You never
Get
know.
gored.
You got to, well, yeah.
That's true.
But you got to think of the worst too. You
Right.
don't want to go out there,
Yeah.
we won't get hurt. And
Yeah.
then someone does. Now what?
That's why we went on vacation. You know, like
Mhm.
some people kind of giggled at me, but I mean, fuck, I had, you know, sucking chest wounds and tourniquets with me. I mean, and
Right.
the reason behind
Right.
that was because the crazy stuff in down south was happening. You know, these militias are stopping people.
Right.
You
I had
know?
my AR in the backseat.
Yeah.
I'm like, good luck, man.
We were going to Panama.
You got no
not Panama,
idea what's coming
Pensacola.
on
Yeah.
here.
But no, it's gonna be fun. Definitely something we'll slowly keep everybody in tune about as we
Yeah,
go
for
along,
sure.
and
For sure. There's
know,
just a lot of shit that
we'll
to
get a game
figure
plan
out,
eventually, and we'll pick a date and pull the trigger. So,
right. It might be like the week of, like, hey boys, we're rolling tomorrow. Like,
Right.
might as well call in sick for a week because
Right.
we got some shit to do.
you
To
know,
do. Hiccuped again. Sorry.
But I
but-
know it's gonna be fun. A lot of big things for us for the podcast. We're excited. Just kind of full circle around everything. Back to what Seth said earlier. Just seriously, thank you guys for tuning in every week and putting up with us.
Right.
Really, I mean, they are putting up with us.
Literally.
So
5 minutes in, they're like, "Oh my god, they're talking again."
They're
Jesus.
still talking.
I know, and I've had some people that are like all you guys do is talk about just straight deer hunting. Like, do you talk?
You got to give it the season.
I've had multiple people ask me, like, so is it just deer hunting or what is it? I'm like, well, we just started this at the beginning of deer season. And yeah, like that's what our world revolves around right now is deer season. But give us some time. Deer season ends. We're going to trapping. We're going to, small game hunting, fur bears, stuff like that.
Mhm.
But then summertime hits,
Fishing.
talk about fishing, camping,
Yes.
here, there, and the other, Let's, I'll bitch about my day at work. I mean,
grilling. I mean, we've kind of touched about that a little bit, but
yeah.
we'll talk about grilling. Shoot. I mean, it's endless.
Whatever, dude. The bonfires. I mean, Tanner, I know you're notorious for the
annual bonfire. Yep.
So we love that kind of stuff. I mean, if it wasn't freezing cold out, I mean, and we weren't trying to record a podcast, then yeah, I would probably have a fire in the backyard right now.
Right.
That's just what we do.
Yep.
So and stuff like that.
And knowing us, we always have stories.
Oh yeah.
Like we'll go out coyote hunting or rabbit hunting one morning, or we go fishing, or we do like a camp or something.
Right. Or like today when you pulled on my drive and you're like, what the hell are you doing?
You come walking out of the woods with an AR, or like he's pissed off. I'm like, did you just kill? Like, did he kill somebody or what? What's going on?
You don't even know this yet. I was out here kind of cleaning stuff up, and I thought I heard gunshots right at that house down there. So, and I heard people yelling, and I'm like, oh no, not today. So I grabbed the handy dandy, the stove, as I call it, grabbed the stove and headed out the house. I wanted to go see what was going on. And I went over there and saw who it was. And I was like, whatever, don't care. And I come walking up, and then Seth's getting out of his car, and he's like, what are you doing, dude? I just got this rifle in my hand. I'm just like strutting out of the woods. And I'm like, oh, just investigating. He's like, did they see you? I'm like, no, they didn't see me. Are you serious? I'm like a cerebral assassin in here, dude. Call me Triple H, man.
Right. But like just like that, we always have stories hanging out.
Other than that, but we have, I mean, our parents, right?
Yeah.
I mean, your dad's a big hunter. My stepdad's a big hunter. My dad's killed a couple of big ones myself. You have a lot of family members with hunting stories. I mean, Jeremy, for Pete's sake. So
right.
Just we got plenty of stories,
Guns.
Experience. We're gonna bring it in every week, whether kind of season dependent,
right?
But we're gonna do the best we can.
Like what gear we use in what season.
Yeah, for sure.
Guns.
But the most important thing is we're gonna have fun.
Yeah, for sure.
And we've been having fun. 8 episodes, man. 8.
So. Damn, we're almost in the double digits.
Yeah. I know, right?
That's big stuff. I mean, we might just have to have a big celebration when we hit 10 episodes.
So
10 weeks straight, man. Woo, here we go.
But anyways, kind of wrap things up. Once again, thanks for listening. We like I said, we have a lot of big things. We're gonna have more things to announce this coming week. Make sure to find that Instagram if you haven't, or find the Facebook if you haven't.
Or just we have a website.
Oh, we have a website.
I don't think we've touched on this yet, have we?
We haven't. It's, as always, www.hoosierbackcountrypodcast.com or .org. It's .org.
Is it? I thought it was .com.
I couldn't get a com. It's .org.
Oh, shit.
I remember that now.
.org. Oh, that sounds like educational. We don't like that.
Yeah. I guess we are a little bit. Either college or not, kids. No, I was kidding.
Right.
No, but yeah, we do have a website. It's our merch / couple episodes. Like I think we have our YouTube link and then maybe Spotify or something. But anyway, we have our website.
Speaking about YouTube though, we decided finally to get the camera rolling. We got a solid dude, Austin. He's gonna go through and edit stuff because I'm not gonna lie. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Technology, not my forte.
Mm-hmm.
I am stupid when it comes to that. And Austin was like, oh, you guys need to do this and tweak this and do that and this. And we're like, okay.
Buddy, I can barely get the computer on.
Yeah, dude. I can barely unlock my house during the day, like let alone work a computer, man.
Right.
So, I'm sure this episode will probably drop tonight. We don't edit shit. We just post it. Whatever happens, happens.
We'll post the podcast, but as far as the YouTube video,
it might take a couple days.
It's a couple days for him to, edit it. And
yeah, he works too. I mean, he's just like us. We got shit to do and jobs and lives other than this podcast.
We gave him a pay cut too. So
Yeah, he gets 3 chickens.
3 chickens and 1 egg. So, but
But
no,
hey, and one more thing before speaking of editing, there was something that happened at the very beginning of this episode that we had to cut out and restart.
oh. We'll have to put a blooper page in or something.
Yeah, because we started recording with the camera, and Seth's like, "Hey, Cohen, you're bringing this in today," and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, got it. Like, no big deal. We're
You've done this
6 billion times.
Yeah,
like,
right.
we're good to go." And it was just a disaster.
What did you say?
What did I say?
It's like, hey,
I literally just put my head on the microphone, like,
he
oh,
combined
no.
every
I
single
just
word
sat
and
down, he's
spit
like,
it out.
Hey, but then crap. I get back up.
I was like, oh my God, what just came? I don't even know what came out. It was like, what's everybody? Hey,
Yeah. What's doing, everybody?
what's doing?
Yeah, it was bad.
It was
bad.
horrible.
But we adapted. We overcame.
Here we are.
Here we are. So, hey, everybody, thanks for listening. Make sure to tune in next week. And as always, stay safe.
And shoot straight.
Hoosier